Speaker, my question, why does this government place cabinet secrecy ahead of the national interest in health? Why does it place the political security of Liberal politicians ahead of the security of Canada's blood supply?
And drink a whole quart of it and it won't hurt you.
You want to drink some? We have some here.
I'd be happy to, actually, but not really, but...
Not really?
I know it wouldn't hurt me.
If you say so, I have some glyphosate.
No, I'm not stupid.
Ah, okay, so you...
No, but I know...
So it's dangerous, right?
No, people try to commit suicide with it and fail fairly regularly.
Tell the truth.
It's not dangerous to humans. No, it's not.
So you're ready to drink one glass of glyphosate?
No, I'm not an idiot.
One pack. No, not one pack.
Staff rushed to aisle 11 to intervene.
News coverage. Guys, thank you so much for coming back to my channel. If you guys haven't seen my last video, it was about what is causing COVID, what is causing HIV. And if you guys haven't checked my last video, please do, because it will explain what's going on this video. But guys, it is very important to know and to be aware of what is going on, because this is affecting us every day. The other days I went to the supermarket and literally everything went up like 4 times more. So guys, it is very, very important. So what we're going to talk about today is what is in your milk, and are we drinking a bioweapon? That is very important, and I want to know, because guys, you guys are going to want to know too, because we need some explanation. There's some people that's going to have to talk to us and tell us what is going on, because it is getting very real. This is not it. So guys, let's see what's going on. So how is COVID-19 and HIV connected? Like, to be honest, before this, I didn't even put 2 and 2 together. I was just like, I wasn't even thinking, like, this has never crossed my mind that HIV and COVID-19 could be connected. So we're going to see what makes this so similar and where do they come from. So HIV has been a pandemic that's been going on for over 40 years, and it killed more than 90 million people. 40 million people right now are infected with this virus, and COVID, almost nearly 9 million people died. I'm not too sure, but right now, you guys, as you can see, is people are getting sick again. You guys gonna find out why. But guys, like, I just never, like, you know what? Now you guys see why everybody was going crazy over toilet paper. And like I was saying, well, I don't know if you guys didn't watch the last video, but the toilet paper stock was the highest ever. Like, that's the best I ever did. Like, it was just the best year. And they're predicting that's going to continue going up, because they're predicting Americans want to be cleaner now. They want to wipe their ass more. So we're predicting that our stock is going to go better. You know what I'm saying? Because they're not mentioning that humans have a cow freaking virus that makes you shit your life away. But guys, let's see what this is about. All right, guys. So a lot of people know, that milk is cow milk. If people didn't know this, now you know. But a lot of people don't know this, that these cows, they get sick every winter, and it's actually called bovine coronavirus. So it's the same thing as COVID. The only thing is that the government, or whoever came up with the name, they forgot to tell us that this is already a coronavirus that cows already get, and they're highly contagious in the first 2 weeks, and they have to be quarantined. Probably that's the reason why they told us that we had to quarantine for the first 2 weeks, right? But it gives them really bad diarrhea. It gives them headache, fever, all the symptoms of flu, and it gives them hard time breathing. But, if they never quarantine, because these cows are always working nonstop, and we happen to be, buying this stuff that's still an infectious cattle. And what's going to happen is, once you touch this, you're touching everything in your kitchen. And now, COVID's in your kitchen all over. So this winter is about to really, if you guys notice how it starts right now, everybody's like, oh my God, everybody's getting COVID, because it is winter time right now in certain places. Well, it is winter time. You know what I'm saying? Certain places, the weather don't change, but it's winter. So this happens every winter to cows. That is just how it works. So the leukemia does the same thing. So a lot of people don't know this, but these cows also have this thing called von Wiener leukemia, which attacks the T cells and it attacks the immune system. So the cows is the same thing like HIV, and it's spread through blood. So for example, I'm not going to ruin the surprise, but a lot of people don't know where their milk is coming from. You guys are going to watch the video and you're going to be like, ugh, I almost threw up. I already knew what it was, but just like even thinking about it. So it's the same thing as HIV. But, you know, before it used to be called human T-cell leukemia virus. And what it did was, you know, the name got switched around again to HIV. So it was a big pandemic. They broke down. Well, it's still around. It's been around for 40 years, but this pandemic started from a prison that, you know, one of our great governor, Mr. Bill Clinton, was in charge of. And then after, you know, everybody found out in the United States that this place was full of HIV blood and it was coming from nowhere. No, you guys will never believe where it's coming from. Well, you know, take guess, inmates. They're coming from inmates. So, you know, they're shipping blood everywhere, all over the world full of HIV. So it got banned in America because they already knew that it was already hurting people. So what happened is, it was, all right, so it's banned in America. Let's go to Canada. Let's go to China. Let's go everywhere till they tell us we can't do it no more. So yeah, we're still suffering from that pandemic. We got sued many times. We are actually paying monthly checks to other people in other countries because of this pandemic. So a lot of people didn't know that because, you know, at the time, Mr. Clinton was having a great time at the office. And then anonymously, someone called around the same time that the scandal broke out. And guess what happened? Everybody was too busy with the scandal that they didn't know that around the world there was a bigger scandal, or that there was a pandemic that was actually very fast, faster than COVID, okay? But, you know, so guys, where do our milk come from? That's the question. If you guys don't know, you guys are gonna know now.
Plain old milk, on the other hand, is also a strained product. It's filtered cow blood. As weird as that seems, all mammal milk is made from blood because blood contains lots of nutrients and baby mammals need lots of sugar, fat, and protein to grow complex brains and bodies. But mammal mamas can't just open an artery. That would be dangerous. Plus, most of the useful nutrients in blood are too dilute, and blood has too much iron for most babies to process. This is where the mammary gland comes in. It's full of thousands of tiny sacs whose walls have special cells that grab water and nutrients from passing blood, do some chemistry on them, and pass them to the inside of the sacs, where they mix together to become milk. When a baby starts to suckle on the teat, its sucking pattern tells the mom's brain to release the hormone oxytocin, which attaches to the sacs, causing them to squeeze out the tiny droplets of milk into the baby's mouth. Each mammal species tailors its blood-filtering recipe to the needs of its babies. For example, to help their Arctic-dwelling pups pack on the blubber, hooded seal moms produce a milk with 15 times the fat of cow milk. Cottontail moms make high-protein milk for their bunny babies, allowing them to develop their hopping muscles quickly. The tamer wallaby can make 2 different types of milk in 2 different teats at the same time. One high in sugars for a newborn in the pouch, and one high in fat and protein for her waddler. And while selectively bred modern dairy cows don't have a particularly wacky recipe for their milk, they sure make a lot of it. The current record holder, a Holstein named Aftershock, can produce a bathtub full.
Well, I don't know if anybody knew this, but Bill Clinton and Hillary Clinton, they wanted to save money. So when they moved into the governor's mansion in Arkansas, they were like, you know what? We're going to use inmates to help us bring down the cost. So they used to have inmates, but Hillary Clinton was something very odd about her, that she just wanted them to be black and she wanted them to be, you know, inmates. So I don't know, like the movie Get Out is starting to sound like a reality. I could be wrong. What you guys think? Well, I don't know.
Was the doctor who told the world about an AIDS. Now, Xuping Wang was the doctor who told the world about an AIDS epidemic in rural China caused by a trade in contaminated blood products. Her actions saved many lives, but meant that she lost her job, had to live in exile in the USA, and was parted from her first husband and child. Her story was turned into a play called The King of Hell's Palace, which was staged at the Hampstead Theatre in London and directed by Sir Michael Boyd. He says it all started when Xuping Wang was working in a plasma collection centre in Henan province.
People were suffering from immediate effects of receiving someone else's blood. It could be very damaging to them immediately, and one patient particularly rang an alarm bell, going straight into a coma. But the long-term consequences, which she foresaw long before the fruits of the incubation of the disease came to light, was that all it took was 1 or 2 AIDS-infected donors, or indeed hepatitis, for there to be an outbreak of the disease.
So effectively, the medical professionals were spreading HIV and then subsequently, presumably, AIDS through this practice.
Absolutely. And much more appalling even than that, when she told them what was happening, what would be the result, what was happening, the government declared the existence of the widespread infection as a state secret. So it was therefore the dissemination of this knowledge became a criminal offense.
As the doctor who told them.
So what happened after to her was that she had her little practice that she was just doing her own thing. She started her own business so she could help others. So one of the local health department worker came, smashed all her stuff up, slapped her in the face and said, "Hey, you, we're on to you. You know who sent me. You need to stop this now." After he smacked her. And she got so scared that she was like, "You know what? I'm picking up and I'm going to USA America." And that's what happened. Can food be a bioweapon? That's the question. So guys, I put a definition up here. For those who don't know what bioweapon is, it is basically if someone is using a bacteria, a virus, an infection, a fungal, whatever it is to harm others. And they're doing it intentionally. So it is up to you guys to decide what you want to decide. But guys, thank you so much for watching. And like I said, educational. I'm just reading a book. I'm just looking into the stuff that we was not taught in school. So, I just went and found my own info, because we don't get taught the same thing from other, depends what part of the fence you're in, that's what you're going to learn, just like prison.
RBGH is also known as RBST. It's the same thing. It is a genetically engineered hormone developed to force cows to produce more milk, typically 5 to 15% more milk.
It speeds up their metabolism, where they will eat more feed and they'll give more milk.
Jeffrey Smith is an international best-selling author and expert on the health risks of genetically engineered foods.
Nearly 1 out of every 6 dairy cows in the United States are injected with this pharmaceutical drug, which critics call crack for cows. Studies show that it decreases the nutritional content, while it increases the amount of antibiotics, the amount of hormones, and the amount of pus. It's marketed by Monsanto under the brand name Posilac, and they want more cows in this stuff.
Of course, you'll want to inject Posilac to every eligible cow, as each cow not treated is a lost income opportunity.
To make RBGH, scientists take genes from cows and insert them into E. coli bacteria. The new genetically engineered E. coli then produces the cow's hormone. Bovine growth hormone stimulates another powerful hormone called IGF-1, insulin-like growth factor 1. The milk from treated cows has much higher levels of IGF-1, and that's a big problem.
Dr. Jenny Pompilio of Oregon Physicians for Social Responsibility told a TV interviewer why her organization is trying to get RBGH taken off the market.
But we at Oregon PSR believe in the science, and there is enough scientific data that points to a concern for increased cancer rates in humans. RBGH increases the IGF-1 in cow's milk, and this is not disputed. It's also not disputed that elevated levels of IGF-1 can promote cancer in humans.
A Harvard study showed that men with high levels of IGF-1 are 4 times more likely to develop prostate cancer. Premenopausal women are 7 times more likely to develop breast cancer. It's implicated in lung and colon cancer. And a recent study implicated IGF-1 in a higher rate of fraternal twins. In fact, in the United States, we have twice the rate of increase of fraternal twins than in the UK, where RBGH is banned.
Almost all the industrialized countries of the world have banned this. This includes Canada, Australia, New Zealand, Japan, and all 25 countries of the European Union. Not only that, but the Codex Alimentarius, which is the UN's main food safety body, voted and said we cannot guarantee that this is safe.
A European Commission report stated that avoidance of RBGH dairy products in favor of natural products would be the most practical and immediate dietary intervention to achieve the goal of preventing cancer.
The approval of RBGH in 1993 was probably one of the most controversial decisions the FDA ever made.
There's a revolving door between Monsanto and the FDA. The person in charge of policy at the FDA when RBGH was approved was Michael Taylor, Monsanto's former attorney and later their vice president. Margaret Miller worked on RBGH issues doing research for 5 years at Monsanto and then became FDA branch chief in the division that evaluated her own research. Susan Sechin worked for Monsanto doing research on RBGH and then became the primary FDA review officer for RBGH. One of the main problems with the FDA review of the drug was that they treated it as an animal drug and didn't look at it as a human drug. So they failed to take into consideration most of the possible health effects.
A human drug requires 2 years of carcinogenicity testing and extensive birth defect testing. RBGH milk was tested 90 days on 30 rats at any dose before it was approved.
Well, the whole RBGH thing represents fundamental flaws in the regulatory process. The outside influence, the lack of proper structure, proper personnel to do the job that we trust them to do.
Sort of. We have new details about cows being used to develop a possible antibody treatment for coronavirus. Here's Elizabeth Cohen.
Cows, they're just like us. Really, these cows are just like us in one important way, a way that could possibly save lives during the pandemic. These cows have human chromosomes. You've given the cow a human immune system.
Well, we've certainly given the cow a part of the human immune system.
And so this company, SAB Biotherapeutics in South Dakota, is hoping their blood could help make a drug to fight COVID-19. Here's how it works. Using genetic engineering, scientists create a cow embryo that contains parts of human chromosomes. That embryo becomes a calf and then a cow. Then, a non-infectious part of the novel coronavirus is injected into that cow. Because of the genetic engineering, the cow produces human antibodies to the virus. Those antibodies are collected from the cow and once purified become a drug that might work to combat the coronavirus in humans. So these cows are plasma donors, just like humans who've recovered from coronavirus and donate blood. But the cows have a big advantage, and that is they're big and have a lot of blood to give.
It's one of the reasons that we chose cattle, because obviously they are a large animal.
Plus, they can donate plasma 3 times a month. Humans can only donate once a month. Another company, Regeneron, is trying a similar approach with mice who are engineered to have portions of a human immune system. The scientists call them magic mice. They extract and clone the best antibodies.
We literally genetically humanized mice. We put in the genes for the human immune system into mice so that these mice have pretty much exactly a human immune system.
Both companies plan to start human clinical trials early this summer. If all goes well, when might this drug be on the market?
So if all goes well, we expect that we will have the drug on the market by early next year.
Of course, there's no telling if this will work, but hopefully these part human animals will play a role in saving lives during the pandemic. Elizabeth Cohen.
Stock or credit markets, but surprisingly in the cattle futures market. The trader in question is none other than 31-year-old Hillary Clinton. In 1978, Hillary Clinton was a faculty member of the University of Arkansas Law School and recently married Bill Clinton, an up-and-coming politician in Arkansas state politics. Bill Clinton had recently been elected to Attorney General of the state, and many already viewed him as a favorite to be the next governor. At the time, the couple's combined income from Bill's Attorney General salary and Hillary's law school job amounted to a relatively modest $51,000 a year. Hillary wanted to increase their financial position as they eventually wanted to have a kid. She decided the best way to do this was to take on trading as a side hobby. She knew nothing about trading or financial markets at the time, so sought advice from a family friend, James Blair, who was also a lawyer working for Tyson Foods. Tyson Foods was a very powerful company at the time and was the single largest employer in the state of Arkansas. Blair told Hillary that he was having tremendous success trading cattle futures on the Refco Cattle Exchange. While cattle futures are usually bought and sold by cattle farmers who are trying to hedge the value of their livestock, they can also be traded by speculators who are trying to make profits off of price swings. In October of 1978, when Bill Clinton was on the verge of winning the Arkansas gubernatorial election, Hillary opened up a cattle trading account with Refco and gave control to William Blair, who executed most of the trades for her. She initially put in just $1,000 as an initial investment and aggressively used margin to scale up the size of her trades. William Blair traded the account for her and made winning trade after winning trade, ultimately leading to a 100-fold increase in her account value to $100,000 by the time she cashed out in July of 1979. Pretty good for a 1-year return on investment. After bagging this 100x gain, she completely shifted her investment strategy and put the money into US Treasury bonds, saying that she, quote, lost the nerve for gambling. President, and Hillary Clinton became First Lady, their personal finances came under much greater scrutiny. In 1994, the New York Times published a report reviewing Hillary's financial records and uncovered the $100,000 profit that she made back in 1979.